Girl left me for a richer guy. The wedding apparently was a shit show. This happened many years ago, but I have been wanting to tell this for a while. Back in the happy-go-lucky days of the late 1990s, I had a college girlfriend, Courtney, and like many a young man, I thought she was the one. That turned out very inaccurate. Courtney decided to start seeing someone else, Mike. However, she neglected to tell me about it and started seeing Mike while we were still a couple. I knew of him mostly that his dad was rich and he was destined to follow in dad's footsteps and attend Harvard Law and work at a prestigious law firm, which he ultimately did from what little I have heard over the years. But that is for another day. Upon graduation, all three of us were in the same year. Courtney and Mike decided to break the news to me that they were engaged. When I asked very loudly why, Courtney just shrugged and said she needed a husband with prospects, translation, money. And to add the cherry on top, the job that I was offered upon graduation announced there was corporate restructuring and the position had been eliminated. So I did what any recent college graduate with whose job plans disappeared and whose girlfriend just ditched him for a richer guy. I joined the Army. I thought I would do this Army thing for a few years before figuring something out. But by the time I finished with OCS, Ranger School, and assigned to a regiment, it was September 2001. I am sure you can guess how busy those years became. A year later, as my first tour in Afghanistan was winding down, I received a DVD from Jaime, a college friend who also knew Courtney and Mike, and was well aware of what happened between us. A note with the DVD said, "Please watch, you will love it." The DVD was their wedding. It looked like a high-end venue, and the bride was looking every bit as beautiful as I remembered. Things were going as expected until the minister said the speak now part, and that was when the gates of hell opened. A man stood, someone I did not know, and demanded how could Courtney go through with this. Courtney's face went white and pleading when she saw him. The man who I dubbed Rick wanted to know how Courtney could do this him. Welcome to the club. Then Rick dropped the bomb. Courtney was carrying their child. Mike's face went red as he looked at Rick, then at Courtney, realizing that the woman he was about to marry, the woman who cheated on me with him, was more than likely pregnant, and not by him. But that was not the best part. As the wedding guests were probably processing what Rick said, the camera turned as someone else yelled. This time a woman, dubbed Mary, who was very pregnant herself. Any shred of moral high ground Rick had was gone when Mary cradled her belly and demanded to know how Mike was going to take care of their child. The DVD ended with the parents of the not wedded couple pulled their respective kids aside and left the venue. It did not take a genius to figure out that the wedding was called off. And Jaime's note was right, I did love it. It made my day to see the woman who carelessly broke my heart so publicly embarrassed. I showed it to my comrades who found it hilarious. Over a year later, this time in Iraq, that DVD would provide some joy on days when shit had really hit the fan. I only heard bits and pieces of what happened after the ill-fated wedding. As I said earlier, Mike did go on to be a lawyer and apparently did well. Courtney got a job and went on with her life. I can only guess that they wound up with the other person, or at least raised their kids. Beyond that, I know little and care even less. As for me, I stayed in the Army. I would return to Afghanistan and Iraq more than once. I would serve in places I am still not allowed to discuss and deal with enemies who made bin Laden look like Gandhi. But those are other stories.
I have looked for my daughter for 12 years. This morning, a detective called me. Okay, I'm sitting here in my kitchen, and I think I need to say this all out loud to someone, anyone, even if it's just into my phone for this app. If I don't, my heart might just beat right out of my chest. My hands haven't stopped shaking since this morning. I've called into those support hotlines over the years, talked to other parents living this nightmare, but I never thought I'd be making a call like this. A good one. For 12 years, my entire world has been defined by one absence. 12 years ago, during a custody battle that got real ugly, my ex-wife just took our daughter, Sophie, and disappeared. She was 5 years old. She had this little gap between her front teeth when she smiled, and she loved this old, gray, stuffed elephant named Ellie. One day they were here, the next, poof, gone. No note, no trail, no nothing. It was like a light in my life just got snuffed out, and I've been living in the dark ever since. I did everything you can possibly imagine, and then some. I spent every last dime I had, and then some I didn't, on private investigators. Some were great, some were cons, but I followed every single lead, no matter how small or ridiculous. I must have put up 10,000 flyers. I joined every online group, every forum for missing kids. I'd hit refresh on those missing persons databases until my eyes blurred. I became a ghost myself, just chasing another ghost. I never moved from our old house. Couldn't. What if she remembered the address? What if she came looking for me and found strangers living here? Her room. I kept it exactly how she left it. The little purple bedspread, the drawings on the wall, the storybooks on the shelf. And Ellie, her elephant. I know it sounds silly, but I've kept that old thing on my pillow every single night. It was the one thing I had left to hold on to. People, even well-meaning friends, they tell me I had to move on. They said I had to find peace, that I was destroying myself. But how do you move on from a piece of your own soul? You don't. I couldn't. She was my piece. Here's where it gets so wild I still can't process it. This morning my phone rang. An unknown number from a state I didn't recognize. I usually let those go to voicemail. Too many calls from debt collectors and scammers over the years. But some gut feeling made me pick up. This morning my phone rang. An unknown number from a state I didn't recognize. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something in my gut made me answer. It was a detective. He said his name was Detective Evans, from a town 2 states over. He explained that they'd recently gotten a call from a high school counselor who had been worried about one of her students. My daughter, 17 now, had mentioned in passing that she'd never seen her own birth certificate. Her mother always told her it had been lost in a move. The counselor thought something didn't add up and reported it. Law enforcement got involved. They cross-checked what little info Sophie could provide with NCIC, the National Missing Persons Database. That's when my name and that old report popped up. They pulled in Child Protective Services, and Sophie's been in temporary foster care while they verified everything. Then he said the words I've been waiting 12 years to hear. Sir, we've located your daughter. She's safe, she's healthy, and she's been asking about you. Then the detective asked me the most incredible question of my life. He said, Sir, are you ready? She's right here, and she'd like to say hello. I heard the phone shuffle, and then there was a breath. A young woman's voice, so quiet and unsure, but I'd know it anywhere, I'd know it in my dreams. She said, Hi, Dad. I've been looking for you, too. We talked for an hour. We're meeting this weekend at a neutral place the detectives have arranged. I'm terrified. What do I say? What do I wear? Will she like me? But I'm also so happy I can't breathe. After 12 long years of searching, of waiting, of hoping, I'm finally going to get to hug my little girl again. Ellie is finally going home.
Got separated from my 7 siblings in foster care at 15. I'm 20 now, but back when I was 15, life flipped upside down. We grew up in a family of 8 kids. Yep, 8. Same mom, same dad, one tiny house, and way too many arguments over who finished the last of the cereal. Things were rough. CPS got involved, and eventually we all ended up in the foster system. The worst part? We got separated. My older sisters went to one family, my younger brothers to another, and I was shipped off to a group home a few towns over. At first, it felt like we lost everything: each other, stability, even the tiny bit of normal we had. Here's where it gets wild. My placement was supposed to be temporary, but months turned into a year. I thought I'd never see my brothers and sisters again outside of a supervised visit in some stuffy office. But then, my oldest sister, Maria, turned 21. She'd aged out of the system herself a few years before and had been working 2 jobs, saving every penny. The day she got the keys to her 2-bedroom apartment, she walked into a social worker's office and filed the paperwork to become a kinship provider. She said she came from a rough background herself and refused to let us grow up the same way. Moving in with her was insane at first. Imagine going from a group home with strict schedules and shared everything to your own bed, your big sister making your favorite pancakes on a Saturday morning, and a home that actually felt like a home. It was overwhelming, honestly. But here's the thing: she never treated us like a burden. She treated us like her family. She helped with homework, argued with us about curfew, and cried at my high school graduation. It was hard. She was so young herself, and money was always tight. The state offered some help, but it was never enough. We all had to pitch in. The goal was always to get everyone back. One by one, as the courts approved it, my other siblings came to live with us. We were crammed into that tiny apartment like sardines, sleeping on couches and air mattresses. But we were together. Fast forward 5 years. I'm in college studying social work because I want to help families stay together. Maria? She's a certified foster parent now herself, and she just bought a house with enough rooms for all of us to visit. We all live our own lives now, but we're closer than ever. The dream was that one day we'd all live near each other again, and we're making it happen. Sometimes I think about how easily things could have gone another way. If Maria hadn't fought so hard for us, if we'd all been adopted out to different states, everything could be different. But instead, my sister's fight gave us not just a guardian, but our family back.
My girlfriend broke up with me at Taco Bell, so my 23M relationship just ended in the most crazy way possible. We were sitting in Taco Bell, just eating like normal people, when she looks at me dead serious and says, "I don't think this is working anymore." I thought she meant food, so I was like, "Yeah, it's been kind of bland lately." Nope, she meant us. I just sat there holding a half-eaten Crunchwrap Supreme while she broke up with me in the middle of the dining room. Some guy 2 tables over was watching like it was free cable TV. When she left, I had to do the walk of shame to the counter and ask for a to-go box for my breakup meal. The worker just gave me this sad little nod like, "Been there, brother." So now I'm single, but at least I got extra hot sauce packets out of it.
I think I met a real-life vigilante. I, 23M, was coming home from a grocery store trip with nothing more than some bread, because I ran out, when my GF texted me while I was walking to my car. And while I was replying, a guy stepped out of the alleyway in front of me, and he presses a gun to my chest before he throws me into the alleyway. Bread getting smashed against the ground and my back hitting a dumpster, with 2 other dudes following behind. One of them looked like a meth head. I don't know. Anyways, they begin trying to take my things: wallet, phone, shoes, keys. When out of nowhere, this dude dressed in some ridiculous costume drop kicks the guy with the gun, causing his face to smash into the concrete. And when the other 2 turn to face what I assume is a vigilante, I grab my things off of the ground and book it. This happened just last night. I called the cops and told them what happened. Apparently, this has been happening recently, where a guy dressed in a big jacket, boots, black and gold luchador mask, and scarf around his neck has been doing major drug busts and taking down online predators all across my town. I don't know what to think of this, but I so hope there's Batman in my town.